In the 11th chapter of Matthew's Gospel, we hear a story that we hear very often during Advent because it involves two of the big figures of Advent, John the Baptist and Jesus. In this chapter of Matthew, the disciples of John the Baptist are sent by John while he's in prison to go to Jesus and ask him a big question. Are you the one, or should we look for another? Are you the one, or should we look for another? These words may seem like a very simple question, but I think it's a very deep one because it shows almost despair amongst these disciples. They wanted to know, they thought, after centuries of waiting for the Messiah, that they had found him in John the Baptist, perhaps. But it turns out they hadn't. So they go to Jesus asking him, are you the one? Or do we have to look and wait for another? They may be starting to lose hope. They may be despairing. You can see them almost saying, are you the one? Please be the one. That way we don't have to wait for another. Jesus responds to their question with the words, tell him what you see. The blind see and the deaf speak. In other words, quoting Isaiah and the other prophets, he shows that these prophets who prophesied that Messiah would come and do these things, he shows that the Messiah has come. In other words, he shows he is the one. There's no need to wait for another. He is the one. I can only imagine the joy that they felt at that moment going forward. They had finally found the one. This Advent is the reason for our joy. Not just in Advent, but for our whole lives. The reason for our joy is that Jesus is the one and that we have found him. In a world of much confusion and despair, a world that offers so many self-help books, guides to life, we have found the one who helps. We have found the healer. We have found the one. Therefore, as we think about joy this Advent, we can have joy that we have found the one, that we don't need to look for another, that we don't need to wait for another. And we have joy that he, this one, will come again in his second coming. We look forward to that every Advent. And in the meantime, before his second coming, this one, this Jesus, comes to us daily in his word and in the Eucharist. There's no need to look far. There's no need to look for another. We can have joy because he comes to us daily. And until he comes again, may he find us waiting joyfully for the coming of his kingdom.